What is up everyone, it is me Dan here, and today I am here with another video regarding Arrow Season 6. And today I'm going to be talking about the 5 improvements I want to see in Arrow Season 6's back half. Because to say that the first 9 episodes of Arrow Season 6 have been mixed is putting it nicely, to say the least. Because even though there's been quite a few highs, there's also been quite a few lows. So today I'm going to be talking about the improvements I want to see made, storylines I want to see advanced more, and maybe even some new storylines I want to see implemented in the back half. So let's waste no time and let's get into the 5 improvements I want to see. So the first one I've got written down here is I want to see the storyline of Samantha Watson and the whole FBI against the Green Arrow storyline be resolved very early on in the back half of the season, because for me this is easily one of the most boring storylines on the show at the moment, because the biggest issue that I have with it is I feel like a lot of it is just repetition on what we have seen before. We've seen the storyline in Season 1, in Season 3, and it's just been playing out for so long in Season 6 that it just becomes really boring. And the character of Samantha Watson for me just has no personality whatsoever. There's no personal drive for her. You can literally replace her with any other generic FBI agent who is after someone and it wouldn't change a thing. And that's the disappointing thing about her character, because the actress is very good, they've just done nothing with her, and I just want to see this storyline be resolved very early on. I would say by around episode 14 I would like this storyline to be over and done with, because if they drag it out for the remainder of the season, it's just going to be really boring, and it's just going to act as a burden on the show that it's got to try and end this storyline as well as, you know, this other group of villains. Speaking of group of villains, my second improvement I want to see made in Arrow Season 6 is make Ricardo Diaz the main villain. Like, Ricardo Diaz is by far one of the more interesting villains they've had this season, and he's only had about 2 minutes of screen time, whereas Caden James for me is just such a boring villain. I find no sense of threat from him, and no sense of longevity in him, you know, in terms of his threat being able to sustain itself throughout the whole season. So for me, I would much rather they pull a twist midway through the back half and make Ricardo Diaz the main villain, because he just has more threat. I mean, he's a drug lord, he's got connections to Diggle because of the tremors, you know, the drugs that he gave to Diggle to control his tremors. Like, he's just a more threatening character in my opinion. And I know there might be people out there who love Caden James. Like, I love Michael Emerson, but Caden James is such a boring character. The whole hacking aspect to him, it just isn't threatening to me. Whereas with Ricardo Diaz, his threat and what he offers is far greater. So I would love to see a storyline implemented in this season where Ricardo Diaz essentially tries to do a bit of a mini revolt against Caden James, and then I want to say by about episode 18, where usually the show goes on a break, he stabs Caden James in the back literally and kills him and assumes control of the villain team. That's what I want to see. Either him or Anatoly just take over, because I just don't like Caden James that much as a villain, and I would just rather they find a way to, you know, make him have a memorable exit from the show, because I just don't really want to see him be the main leader of all these villains, because for me it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So the third thing I've got written down here is don't make Olicity the main focus of everything, alright? Because now we've got them married. Like, you don't need to make all of this will they won't they bullshit. Like, we don't want to see any more of that, please. The way that they got married I think was bullshit. The whole wedding reception they had in episode 9 was just pure cringe in my opinion for like 10 minutes. Like, Jesus Christ, like, I've never watched 10 minutes more of cringe since Arrow Season 4, it's that bad. But just now that you've got that out of the way, stop trying to constantly force in these moments with these characters that just don't fit in with the story. Like, I don't want to see that. Yes, I understand they are married, but don't keep on trying to play that will they won't they bullshit. Like, they're married now. I can't change that. It's not going to change because it's Mark Guggenheim in control. He clearly loves Olicity. I can't change that. All I ask is that don't make it the main focus of everything. Like, that's why Season 4 of Arrow sucked balls. So please, don't try and do it again in the back half of Season 6. That is the last thing I want to see done to this show. So the fourth thing I've got written down here is give Diggle a storyline that lasts the whole season. I've been crying out for this since Season 4 with his storyline with Andy. It was probably one of the few things I actually liked about that season, his storyline with Andy, because it actually developed the whole way through and changed Diggle's character. Season 5, he had literally no season-long storyline. The only closest thing he had was the whole rivalry between him and this like corrupt colonel who was in the army, who basically got him locked up in jail. But that was resolved far too quickly, in my opinion. And in Season 6, they've had opportunities to give him storylines that were decent, but they failed in all those areas. Like the whole him becoming Green Arrow, that seemed very interesting, but by about episode 4, when he was Green Arrow, I was bored. I didn't care at all. I just really started to lose interest in that storyline. And with the whole like drug tremor storyline that he had, seemed interesting, but then they completely abandoned it for 3 episodes, and then when he comes back with the storyline of the whole drug tremor thing, it's gone again. It's like resolved within that same episode. And for me, that was just very annoying, because Diggle is a good character, but here it's like they don't know what to do with him. It's almost like they're just keeping him around just for the sakes of having original Team Arrow around. If it weren't for that, and the fact that he kind of now has to act as the moral compass for the team, I think Diggle is kind of useless. Like, I would, honestly, if they don't give him a story this season, I wouldn't be surprised if they kill him off, because they're just not giving him anything of noteworthy length. Like, you can't just have a character sit around and just be the moral compass and have no story the whole season. They need a purpose to exist. There needs to be a sense of something happening to them, you know, outside of just being on Team Arrow. And that's what I want to see with Diggle in Season 6. And the final thing I've got written down here is, please, just give us more Black Siren. Like, Katie Cassidy is meant to be a series regular. She's only been in 4 episodes of this season. That's just, for me, that's crazy. And she's only really been the main central villain of one of those episodes, and that was the premiere. Like, I think Black Siren is by far the most interesting villain on the show, because of the fact that she's, in a way, quite conflicted. And I've loved the interactions that she's had with Lance. But for me, because of that lack of screen time, we just haven't had that opportunity to not only have more of a story with her character, which is what I want to see really badly in the back half, especially if they go with the redemption arc that I want them to go with in the back half of the season, but give her a chance to interact with other characters. And what I'm talking about more specifically is Oliver, Diggle, and Felicity. These are the 3 members of Team Arrow, other than Lance, who know the Earth 1 Laurel. They know the Earth 1 Laurel better than any of the others, because, of course, they worked with her and they knew her. I just want to see their reactions to her, because we haven't really had that, in my opinion, since, like, episode 10 of Season 5. Like, that's the last time we really saw any of those trio interact with Black Siren, and I really want to see that happen more often in the back half of the season, especially between her and Oliver, because, of course, you know, on Earth 2, you know, Black Siren was, of course, you know, in a relationship with Oliver, and of course he died on Earth 2, so I would love to see more of their interactions together, and to see whether maybe Oliver can actually help sway Laurel into that redemption arc, and it not just being all about Lance trying to do it himself. That's what I would like to see, and just give him more stuff to do in the back half, because Katie Cassidy's awesome as Black Siren. I think she plays a great villain, and I just want to see more of her, because, like I said, I think she's easily the most interesting villain that Arrow has right now. So those are my 5 improvements I want to see in Arrow Season 6's back half. Now, of course, let me know in the comment section down below what improvements you want to see in Arrow Season 6 with the remainder of this season. With that all being said, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching the video. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I hope to see you again next time.